it in OK apiece. Here's SGA. What a difference a day makes.
This late in the season, like, it's nothing special that you can do. Like, every team has their identity, and when they impose their identity more than the other team does, they usually win, no matter what level or what stakes are in the game. And tonight we just did a better job of that than we did in the first game, and that's probably why we came out on top. Now the circumstances change and force you to focus on your identity more, and I think tonight we just had no chance but to play to our strengths, or else just to give ourselves the best shot to win tonight. And that's something like you go back and forth with in the playoffs. Like, just like naturally speaking, waking up this morning, we were probably more desperate than they were. Like, just naturally, because we had to get this game or else we'd go on the road down 0-2. So yeah, some of it was that, but nonetheless, you still have to go out there and do the job, and I think the guys did that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I tell you what, it's tough to beat the Thunder regardless. It's even tougher to beat them twice in a row. OKC has now won 9 straight playoff games following a loss. That's the longest streak by any team since LeBron's Heat squad from 2012 to 2014. Here's Mitch Johnson, who's running out of point guards.
You know, obviously this team is as good as anybody at turning you over. So when you're down some of your primary creators and initiators, it causes a little bit of an extra strain, whether that's who to play, what to run, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll just have to be sharper in that area because it's tough, fully loaded against these guys. So we obviously 27 points off turnovers is not a winning formula.
See somebody go out mid-game kind of gives you a little bit more, motivation to kind of do it for them. But I feel like coming into the game, we kind of had the same mindset, with Fox out. So, obviously, one person can't make up for what Fox or, somebody else can't make up for what, Dale brings for us. So, just trying to do it as a team.
When I mean a straight effort is, like the tactics, we all know it by heart, but we have to, doesn't mean it's easy, and we have to work through it.
We're joined now by Stephen A. Hey, Stephen A., we saw Mark Daigneault make some chess moves. He had Isaiah Hartenstein leaning on Wemby all night, held him to about half of what he had in Game 1. And then SGA comes through with 30 points, 50% shooting from the floor. What did you see out of the back-to-back MVP in Game 2?
Well, you needed to see the level of aggression that he showed. The fact is that he hasn't been himself. He's been the league MVP, averaging over 30 points over the last 4 seasons, particularly the last 2. He's been an unstoppable force, missed the mid-range himself, can hit the 3 when necessary, definitely can finish with the basket. You didn't see that level of efficiency and that level of aggression, particularly in Game 1. He came out tonight looking for his shot, recognizing the urgency of the moment, because had Oklahoma City fallen down 0-2 in this series, it's over. You're not coming back from that and beating this particular San Antonio Spurs team led by this particular alien named Victor Wembanyama. You're not coming back from an 0-2 deficit, having to win 4 or 5 games, and the first 2 of them was going to be in San Antonio. That was not going to work out. So they needed to win this game. They needed to be led by the league MVP, and sure enough, that's exactly what he did tonight, scoring 15 points in each half, only attempting 6 free throws, so hitting most of his shots from the field, obviously holding on to the ball, not turning it over and things of that nature. He was efficient tonight. He was the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander we all know and love.
Well, and Stephen A., as you just mentioned, that 0-2 deficit would be a hard hole to dig out of, but the Thunder did win Game 2. So how do you like this Oklahoma City team as the series moves to San Antonio?
Well, it's still tough because San Antonio won't go away. They're just tough. Victor Wembanyama is who he is. He had 4 blocks tonight, 21.17 rebounds. But when you take into account Stephon Castle, everybody's looking at the amount of turnovers, 11 in one game, 9 in another. That's 20 turnovers in 2 games. That is not good at all. But he's not really your point guard. De'Aaron Fox is your point guard. And you've got to believe that De'Aaron Fox eventually will show his face in this series and he'll be able to work through that ankle injury he's suffering from. But Stephon Castle is not necessarily your quintessential point guard. He's an off guard, real big, very, very strong, pushes people around, stout defender, rough and tumble, really goes after it, had 25 points and was pretty difficult to stop. And then you see some of the other pieces that they have. Champagne obviously is a big deal. You've got to pay attention to him. You got to pay attention to Keldon Johnson coming off the bench to reign the 6th man of the year and what he brings to the table. They've got size, they've got athleticism, and they are tough. They're not backing down. Oklahoma seems to know this, having lost 5 of 6 to San Antonio coming into this game. But if Shea Butter answers the call the way that he did, and the strategy of having Hartenstein leaning on Victor Wembanyama and putting a body on him and getting away with it as much as he did in game 2, then the chances for OKC obviously drastically improve for them to at least steal one game.
Hey, this was a consequential game in another respect, and that's that there were 2 key injuries in this game, one for each side. OKC lost J-Dub again with a hamstring injury. We don't know the severity of that. And then Dylan Harper left as well, Stephen A. Bigger hit to which team if those guys can't play?
It's really tough to call because I walked into this series believing that J-Dub had to be available for Oklahoma City in order for them to win this series. But Harper, look at the way he played in game 1, 24, 11, and 7, if I remember correctly. And then to be the kind of player that he is, again, you see the other guys coming off the bench and producing for San Antonio, and you know they've got some bodies. But does that compare to Wallace and McCain and Mitchell and these guys coming off the bench for Oklahoma City in the absence of Jalen Williams? I think that gives Oklahoma City a slight edge in this series against San Antonio. I think Harper's a bigger loss, and that would facilitate Oklahoma City being able to steal one of these games 3 or 4.
Spurs and Thunder with a game.
Back to the association where the Spurs can take a stranglehold of the West Finals with a second win tonight in OKC. Teams can go up 2-0 in a best-of-7 win the series 92% of the time. So the defending champs need to figure Wemby out now. What he did in Game 1 is the stuff of legend.
It's a frenzy pitch. Spurs got numbers 5-on-4. Wemby's going to pull a deep 3. Oh my goodness. A logo shot. Ties it at 108. We're talking about body blow upon body blow between these two teams. Victor Wembanyama, are you kidding me? Wow, let's go to double overtime. Tied at 108. In a game that doesn't want to end and nobody wants to see it end. Entry pass, Wembanyama breaks free, slams it down, and the foul.
They still hold the ball. Like I'm taking my ball going home. I mean, he is absolutely loving the competition.
Castle. Lobbing. Wembanyama! He's unbelievable, folks. He's unbelievable. The Spurs have stolen Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. An instant classic here in Oklahoma City. The Spurs in double overtime behind 41 points and 24 rebounds for Victor Wembanyama.
Everybody had to step up. You know, everybody answered the call. There's like sheer willpower.
That's the hardest game I ever played in my life. Double overtime game. Multiple chances to get it done, but it's easy when you got the best player in the world on your team.
We needed every second from everybody. And those 5 guys played, I think, the last 15 or so minutes of game time. And your knees got wobbly, and you composed yourselves, and you were strong as hell to finish. It's a hell of a job.
Wow, that was beautiful. Danny Green is back with us. Okay, so OKC looking to even the series tonight. What adjustments do they need to make in defending Wemby?
I think they may have to make a few. You know, it's not just one thing. I think there's offense and defensive. Defensively, they got to find ways to keep more in the basket and that changing up the coverages. Throwing smaller bodies at them is okay, but you got to put some big bodies on them as well. Chet's got to guard him some. Isaiah Hartenstein's got to guard him some. Then, of course, you got your main covered guy like Alex Caruso, J-Dub. But you got to use those different coverages to keep him off on his toes. And then offensively, you got to find ways to keep him, or work at him, try to tire him out some. Win the minutes that he's off the floor, but when he's on the floor, the guy who he's guarding has to cut to the basket, crash the offensive glass, or try to get, easy weak side drop-offs for dunks. And that's Chet mostly because he guards him. But whoever else is guarding him is a wing, got to knock down shots.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how Chet responds tonight. Meanwhile, the Spurs look to go up 2-0 against the reigning champs. What is the key to an upset tonight?
Not many adjustments for the Spurs. They just got to keep playing how they played. And the biggest thing is don't turn the ball over. If they can take care of the ball and shoot better, they have a really good chance at doing this. The team that loses is the one that has to make most of the adjustments. The team that won, keep doing what you're doing. And if you got Wemby playing like that and you get other guys involved like Dylan Harper and you got Shan Penny and Keldon Johnson and whoever's shooting from the outside, you have a pretty good chance at beating this team. Also keeping Shai on the wraps. Their defense was the biggest key. Slowing down Shai and slowing down everybody else, where Alex Caruso had to have 30 points to keep them in the game. You can bet that he's not going to shoot it that greatly. But if they just keep doing what they're supposed to do and not turn the ball over, they have a good chance at winning 2 in Oklahoma City.
All right, the Spurs 7.5-point underdogs in this one. I'm sure they like it like that. Danny